So, good morning, everybody. Jai Hind. Let's start. 10:33. So, we are reading Door Bookstore towards the end of this book, and what coming up now and in the next session or so. All, I mean, it's really. Uh, so, if you remember last time, what had happened was that. Carl had got pushed by Shaska's father and had fallen on the ground, and he woke up in the hospital. And the first nurse actually remembered him because he had put her on to Harry Potter, and so she remembered him, and they took good care of him in the hospital. But no one came to see him, and his expectation was people would come to see him. Shaska's father would come and say sorry, and you know, uh, people would come to see him, and his customers, but no one came. So he felt, really bad about it. He didn't have any money. Then the hospital discharged him, and he, you know, he sort of walks back home on his crutches, choosing not to ask for help from anybody for the for the taxi fare because he just wasn't just that type of mood, let's say. And then at home, he's by himself. He's not eating, and he, uh, the last part what we had read had talked about the fear of death, and he had never feared death because his village, where he'd grown up, was just, uh, they used to supply violets to the cemeteries. So he'd been exposed to death, so he wasn't scared of death. And so let's start from here. Ifrah, are you around? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll read a bit, then ask you to read. You'll be able to read from the screen, Ifrah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll read a bit, then I'll ask you to read a bit as yes, and then
Okay,
come
sir.
back again to read. Okay, so on the third day, Carl pulled all the blinds down. He could no longer bear the view of the city he had once thought of as his own. Now it was unfamiliar and fraught with peril. Fraught with peril seemed to have danger. Perilous danger. No longer the city he had walked through for decades. The soles of his shoes wearing down the cobblestones where people were kindly disposed towards him. It was now a city where people threw him to the ground and forgot him. Carl almost welcomed the times his head, arm, and leg flared with pain. It was his only distraction from the heartache. He soon ceased to count the days. He pulled his belt in tighter until finally he was forced to use a can opener to punch new holes in it. He no longer knew whether it was day or night. He simply lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling, or dozing a little before returning to brooding. What is brooding? Anybody? What is brooding? Anybody? What is brooding?
सर
Okay.
किसी से गुस्सा होना या किसी को हर्ट करना.
नहीं जी. Brooding is, when you're sullen and मतलब you are, uh, you're uh, sullen. I'm hunting for another word for it. Uh, it is when you are, with yourself and thinking about something and uh, getting upset or anxious, fear, all those types. Not fear actually. Brooding is when you Manisha, just go to the, you'll see the meaning, exact meaning, but I'm not able to explain it well. But it's like when you feel sullen, मतलब आप जिससे
Sa-
रुस जैसे रुस्से
sa-
होते हैं.
sad, upset, and angry at the same time. That's how I feel it is.
Yeah. So that's what happens. Your like जिसको मतलब रूठे हुए होते हैं, कि में इसको कहते हैं, तो अपने आप से रूठे हुए. A bookwalker with no books and no walk is a non-entity, he thought. It was only to be expected that no one was aware of him anymore. He'd already ceased to exist. He'd often dreamed of dying while reading, with a book in his hand so riveting. The transition from life to death passed him by unnoticed. An out of date phone book was the only thing he had been unable to convert into. He didn't really read it, but it was comforting to brush the tips of his fingers across the paper and gently turn the pages over. After confronting Carl in William Tell Gothic, Shaska's father had thrown all his 9-year old daughter's books from their window into the concrete of their apartment building's inner courtyard. William Tell, anybody read the story of William Tell? I remember we read it in school when I was in school, William Tell. Anybody familiar with the story of William Tell? What's an interesting part of that? So what I remember from of that story was that William Tell was made to shoot from his crossbow at an apple on top of his son's head. Right, so that was supposedly his punishment or his test or whatever. And he's a Swiss folk hero, and he actually uh, you know his actions led to the development of the Swiss Confederacy, and so he's a very famous person in Swiss history. And Gasse means a passage just like a street. So William Tell Gasse, that's what it is. Okay.
So the problem is that many of the stories that we read as young children, today's children are, it's not a part of their course. So they're not really, they have not really been exposed to those, like Rip Van Winkle, William, like you said, and then Tom Sawyer,
Yeah.
and many of these stories. So for them, it is difficult to connect.
So are they? I mean, are they reading other books or not reading? Like, what is happening?
The extracts that they have in books like Gulmohar and all are different. They are, we don't have these classic literature over there.
Okay.
Also, like we used to have a novel from class sixth onwards, whether it was the original or the abridged version. But we were familiar with it. Like, for example, let's talk about Treasure Island or Charles
Right.
Dickens novels and all.
Right.
Well, those have been removed from the course. They no longer read all those things. So
So do they
that
read
is the
something
problem,
else
at least
instead?
in the CBSE school. Pardon, sir?
Do they read something else instead?
They read small extracts from maybe some
Okay.
Indian authors or something.
Okay.
Not the same ones.
Okay. So Manisha, Aditya Yadav is asking to be unmuted. Okay, so what we are seeing here is that Carl continues to feel sorry for himself. Actually, that's the other way to think of brooding, feeling sorry for himself. Is it fair for him to feel like this? Right? He fell down, he hurt himself, he's in hospital. Why do you think nobody has come to meet with him? Why do you think? Anybody? Why do you think nobody has come to meet with him? What could have happened?
Because her nature was bad.
Because the
Because her nature was bad.
No, 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 no. Why do you think nobody is come? So let me ask you, let me give you a big hint. Do you think people even know what's happened? Do you think
That
people know?
might be one of the reasons that people do not know. The other could be they are hit by some sort of a guilt, some sort of a, that this happened. Okay, that could be another reason. But yeah, probably people did not know. Nobody informed them.
Yeah. So without, you know, understanding all this, it seems a little unfair for Carl to think like this, right? Go into what seems like, head first with depression, right? Very easily. Nobody has any interest in him, nobody cares for him, right? Do we do this sometimes ourselves? We
Yes, sir.
sometimes do this. Yeah, I think so too. You without knowing the full facts, you assume something what other people are thinking, or
Perceptions about the people.
yeah. So many times without knowing the circumstances, many times we don't know what somebody else is going through, and our expectations are that they will do something, but we don't really know what's happening in their lives and why they have done something or not done something. So it's always best to find that out before jumping to conclusions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this point around nobody cares for him. This is big, and this is not a good city anymore. This used to be my own city, and this is it's no longer my city. I mean, he's jumped from one end of the spectrum to the other really fast, and data tells us that we do a lot of negative self-talk. What Carl has done over here is negative self-talk. And most of us are guilty of doing this a lot. You have to be conscious when your mind or your brain is telling you something which is negative. If you turn it around, you can see the difference what will happen to how you feel. So many times, you're very guilty of jumping to conclusions about other people, very guilty of negative self-talk. We have to watch out for these two things. Okay, so continuing. After confronting Carl and William Telgate, Shaska's father had thrown all his 9-year-old daughter's books from their window into the onto the concrete of their apartment building's inner courtyard. Shaska screamed and wrapped herself around his legs to hamper him. But one after another, they flew out of the window, opening their pages and fluttering in the wind like white doves before crashing to the ground, scattering their feathers far and wide. Hamper? Hamper is when you try to stop something from happening, right? What is the significance of white doves here? Why is the author talking of white doves? What does white doves remind you of? Anybody? White doves, right? What is a dove in Hindi? What is a dove in Hindi?
Sir,
So are you
maybe
asking about turban?
नहीं जी, dove in Hindi, kabutar. Yeah, it doesn't sound right. Anyway, uh, because kabutar is pigeon, right? I'm just looked at Google and said kabutar doesn't seem right to me. Because anyway, so white doves are something that signify peace and unity. And Always at the beginning of the Olympics, they used to release white doves. That was the first time I remember seeing white doves being released. It was the opening ceremony of the Olympics. But in 1988 in Seoul, in the Olympics, there, some of the white doves that were released went into that cauldron, right? So you have an Olympic flame, if you remember. They flew into the Olympic flame, and some of them died. So after that, they stopped releasing them. But I know one childhood memory for me is at least is the opening of the Olympics and white doves uh, being released because they symbolize peace and unity. Shaska's entire world blurred behind tears. She continued crying long after her father had left the room, shouting until finally she became aware he was watching the news. Shaska stole out of the apartment, crept down the stairs, collected her treasures from the courtyard, and put all the pages back in order. Back in her room, she hid them all in the boxes under her bed, setting up a barricade of soft toys to stand guard over them. From that day on, she was grounded. Every evening, she opened the window wide to keep watch on Munsterplatz in the hope that at least she could wave to the bookwalker. But Karl never came. It wasn't like him at all. Then she had a strange dream about Karl, which would have which she would have preferred to forget because it uh, filled her with dread. Dread is fear. She rang the bookshop. They told her Carl didn't work for them any longer. Besides, they were very busy right now. No, they couldn't give her his address. They weren't an information service. Shaska could hear the irritation in Sabine Gruber's voice. She couldn't know that she was the latest in a long line of people asking after Carl. There seemed to be more every day, even people who had never bought a book, but for whom the man in green with the cloth hat, who set off on his round every evening at 7, was as much a part of the city as the Minster. The Minster is an important church cathedral. Okay, so you see, Minakshi, you were right, because the customers are only calling the shop, and Sabine Gruber is not giving them, and she doesn't know herself to start with. She's not giving the address of Carl. So that's the story. People don't know. And Carl is thinking something else, and, you know, he's messed up his own mind in that process. Taska decided to find Carl. In preparation, she studied the appropriate specialist literature, her detective novels. It rapidly became clear that the three investigators and the famous five were all in complete agreement. She would have to sneak out to the scene of the mystery. From her books, she was delighted to learn that unguarded rear entrances were a common feature. Outside some, she might expect to find a huddle of dubious characters smoking out of sight of their bosses. So the three investigators, are a series of books written by Robert Arthur
Sir,
Jr. It's an American author,
sir,
and famous five, whom I'm personally more familiar with, Enid Blyton. Right. So I don't know if you all read any such mystery books about investigator or something. I mean, I don't know. Do you all read any books, such books?
yes, sir. Famous five.
Famous Five you read? Very good. Very good.
All.
Anybody else? Anshuman?
Sir,
Yes,
sir, what is the meaning of dubious?
dubious.
Yes, sir.
So let's go back to see where. It's okay, dubious character. So many times, okay, in the context in which the word is in the sentence, you can take a guess. Okay, now what would be your guess? Outside this is the back entrance. She might expect to find a huddle of dubious characters smoking out of sight of their bosses. So what are they doing? They're smoking and they're doing something which the bosses wouldn't approve of, and that's a dubious character. So what does that suggest to you? What does that suggest to you? What is this person like? Yeah, it's not sort of genuine. Dubious is, when it's not genuine, right? Go further down, Manisha, if you can. A little down, not hesitating or doubting, or rather dubious. Yeah, not in, not to be relied upon, right? So that's one meaning of respect.
Yes.
So the context gives you that sense, right? He's, trying to do something wrong behind the boss's back. Okay. So anybody else, what type of detective novels do you all read? Could be Hindi, could be English. Are you reading such books? I mean, when I was a child, I mean, they used to be really, really interesting, right? Five Find Outers, famous, and there used to be a bunch of four also, famous five. Anybody? You all read such books? Myra, surely you read these books. Anybody? You read such books around solving mysteries, where children are solving mysteries?
Yes, sir. I read such books. I've read Famous Five as well when I was a little younger, and
Right.
these days I've been trying to explore more of Agatha Christie novels as well.
Right. So you graduated. So did you pass through Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys?
Yeah, I also read Nancy Drew when I was younger.
Okay, good. So at least there is some similarity with what's happening in the world today. That's good. Okay. Alchemist, Akansha said. Okay, that's good. Shaska put a detective ID, a detective watch with a secret compartment, around the corner periscope, a rapid fire automatic detective pistol, and an invisible ink pen into her school bag. Finally, the equipment would get the opportunity it had been waiting for. Okay, so what's a periscope? Anybody? What's a periscope? Periscope? Have you heard of a periscope?
No, sir.
Sir, it is an instrument used to see terrestrial objects.
What is the theory? What is the science behind the periscope? Anybody remember? I clearly remember studying it in school.
Sir, I think it's something related to prisms and mirror. I don't remember exactly.
Right. Anybody else? What is a periscope?
Sir, it is used to see terrestrial objects.
From a
Right.
submarine. If you are in a submarine, then from there you can see terrestrial objects. Okay. So, but it can be used for other reasons as well.
So it's, as Meenakshi ma'am said, uh, you know, even I read about it in the context of a submarine. Right? So a submarine is underwater. And as Ifrah said, it's used to see terrestrial objects. Now, how would that happen? Right? So, and it is to do with mirrors. You have two mirrors at 45 degrees angles. So it is you know, there is a piece of that periscope coming out of the water, and that's how people would spot there's a submarine here, because you would see the periscope poking out of the water. So that's the one way, I mean, that's the only way the submarine can see outside the water, through the periscope. and it is a flat part, then there's a long part, and then there's a flat part again. So you can think of it as like horizontal, then vertical, then horizontal. And at the corner, you've got 45-degree mirrors. So the light comes in from outside, gets reflected, goes to the mirror below, gets reflected, and you know that's how you see. So that's the that's the concept of the mirrors in the periscope. Surely you all studied it in science, yeah? Like surely in physics you should have studied this. After school the following day, she ran to the city gate bookshop, which unfortunately had no rear entrance and was equally decidedly lacking in dubious smoking employees she could bribe and or threaten with a detective pistol. In truth, Shaska wouldn't have had much to offer as bribe, but it would certainly have been enough for a large penguin ice cream at Pino's, which wasn't to be sniffed at. Okay, so Ifra, do you know where we are
Yes, sir.
on the page? Would you like to read from here for a bit?
Yes, sir, sure. She was forced to sneak the front entrance. Shaska pulled her cap with the fake pilot's goggles over her face and pulled up the collar of her yellow winter coat to avoid being recognized. She sought out the most secluded corner of the bookshop and pulled a book from the shelf to complete her disguise. She had barely opened it before someone came up beside her. "What are you doing in the erotic literature section?" laughed Leon. "Eek!" cried Sashka, dropping consuming passion on the book table, instinctively wiping her hands on her coat and taking a few paces away from the book. Watching people kissing on TV was embarrassing enough. "Are you looking for something specific?" was the question Leon should have asked. Unfortunately, he had no idea where anything specific could be found in the shop. The best he could have offered was a very non specific direction. "Do you know Carl, the book walker? He doesn't work here anymore. The boss kicked him out." "What? Why?" Some guy complained. I mean, he was real loud, shouting and all, about Carl taking his daughter on his round. It hadn't been agreed. He was her father, stuff like that. But I can't think of anyone who would take better care of a little kid than Carl. He's he's all right. That Carl. Little kid, as if this boy had no idea. I have got something of Carl's. He dropped it in the street, a key, but I don't know where to find him. I can give you his address. It's still pinned up in the office. Come with me." Leon led her to the large windowless back room, where a page pinned to the wall contained the names, address, and phone numbers of all the shop's employees. Shashka wrote down Carl's contact details neatly in felt tip pen on the back of her hand. Her first detective case and a resounding success. Sir, will you tell what is resounding?
Overwhelming, a
Okay.
big success, right? Because she prepared, she's gone there, and she's managed to give a story of and get Carl's address from Leon, right? And just to give you a little background, Leon was a was a uh, apprentice, not an apprentice. He was just doing a summer training type of thing, internship with the shop, and Carl was there, and he had interest in soccer. And Carl's method of getting children interested in books was to, you know, leave a book which they are sure to find somewhere, and the book would be of interest to them. So he'd actually put a book out there which was about the Arsenal football club. So his idea was that Leon would pick it up and Leon would get interested in books. So that's the little history of Leon and Carl. And so resounding is an overwhelming is the other word for it. Go ahead, Ifra.
Yes, sir. Suddenly, Sabine Gruber was standing behind her, smirking. Leon,
Smirking.
what's the girl
Smirking. What's the meaning of smirking?
doing?
What is smirking? Anybody? What is smirking?
So smirking is when like it's not a complete smile. It's just when one side of your lips are like tilt upwards and it's a tiny kind of smile.
Yeah, it's like that from one side of the alpha says also, and it's like with it's with negative emotions, right? Normally, when you're smiling, it's with good emotions. So this is with negative emotion. Go ahead, Ifra.
Leon, what's this girl doing here? Isn't she a little young to be your girlfriend? I am 9, retorted Shashka indignantly. Close to 10, in fact. And girls are 2 years ahead of boys, sometimes even 3. Shashka's tone of voice implied she definitely belonged to the latter group.
Okay, Ifra, thanks. So just two things here. One is indignantly. What does indignantly mean? When when suddenly you feel angry because of unfairness. So that's the sentiment around indignant, right? You're angry because of something unfair, right? So that's how it says, I'm 9, retorted Shaska indignantly, right? So what are your views on what Shaska's saying, that girls are 2 years ahead of boys, sometimes even 3, right? Why is she saying that? And what do you all think about it?
Sir, I think she's saying that because she does not like being called a little girl and this adds a few years to her age.
Okay, so you don't agree with the idea that girls are 2, 3 years ahead of boys.
I don't think so, sir.
Okay, that's good. What about others? What do the others think? Anybody have any view on this?
Society has made it so that actually they want girls to be mature at an earlier age. So, girls are always treated in that manner at home, whereby, they're told that, okay, you need to be more mature, you need to be more calm, you need to be more accommodating, you need to be. So, what ultimately happens that because of the pressures of the societies, girls sometimes, yes, do become a little mature, more mature at an earlier age. So that is how it is.
Um, Manisha, can you just unmute Arfa? He has some interesting points.
Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah. So Arfa, would you like to tell us about your point?
Alpha, can you raise your hand? I cannot find where you are. Yeah, I got it. Alpha. Yeah, Alpha, you're unmuted.
Good morning, sir. I wanted to say that uh, puberty wise, girls are a few years ahead of boys. They get secondary sexual characteristics quicker and get taller before boys. And they also reach a level of maturity way ahead of boys. And studies do say that most men reach actual maturity when they are in their 40s, while girls get it much earlier, like in their 20s.
Wow. Okay, I'm not sure about that much of a difference, but that's an interesting concept. Anybody else? Any thoughts on this subject? Any other thoughts? So I know in the old days they used to say that there needs to be an age gap between boys and girls when they get married, and the reason given used to be that girls mature faster, and so that's why age gap is necessary. So what is Deepika saying? Deepika is saying she is confused. Okay. So Deepika, why are you confused? You have to tell us what is it that's confusing you. Maybe you want to raise your hand and Akshi ma'am, Manisha ma'am can unmute you. Meanwhile, anybody else, any other, anybody with any other view on this? Meanwhile, somebody is asking, recognize, what is the meaning of recognize? What is the meaning of compartment? Okay. So what is the meaning of recognize? Anybody who can help Deepika here? What is the meaning of recognize?
पहचानना पहचानना
Very good. What is the meaning of compartment also she's asked?
Yes, sir. What is the meaning of compartment?
Okay, so
May I, sir?
compart, yeah, please.
Compartment means some kind of room or some kind of partition of any place.
Yeah, so in the context it came up, it was the secret compartment of a watch. So the watch had, a secret hiding place below. So it was partitioned off, as Savita said, from the rest of the watch. So it was a small place where you could hide something, right, in the watch. That's what a compartment is. Okay, so I have lost where we are. So
We're on the next page.
Microphone. हो गया ठीक है हेलो 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 हेलो
Aradhya,
What
Aradhya,
happened?
Aradhya, Aradhya, go on mute. Aradhya, go on mute. Okay, so not wanting to lose the temporary job of Sabine Gruber had kindly offered him after his work experience, Leon replied meekly, "We know each other from school. She just dropped in. But what are you both doing back here? This room isn't for customers. You know that. What would people think of us if they saw this chaos?" "She wants to come here for work experience," explained Leon. "So I'm showing her around and explaining everything. She doesn't think the mess here is so bad at all." "That's right. My room is even messier. Sometimes, anyway. Rarely, but it happens." "I can't say that reassures me in a prospective work experience student. Now out, both of you." She turned to Shaska. "You are a little young for work experience. Do you even read?" "Nope," said Shaska defiantly. She didn't want to talk to this woman about books and reading. That was something she could only do with people she liked. And this woman had fired Garth. "Then we can't help you here, I'm afraid." Sabine stopped short. "What's that on your hand? Does that say Kolhoff? Show me." Damn, why hadn't she used the invisible ink? The answer was because it only became visible again when exposed to heat, and Shaska had feared the heat required would be too much. Sabine Gruber reached out to grab her wrist, but Shaska darted away. For someone who had played hopscotch and skipped endlessly around Carl as much as she had, the slalom course Around the tables and bookstands in the bookshop was child's play. Slalom is going zigzag. Okay, and I know in skiing, they have slalom as competition. Yes, Aradhya.
I just want to say now chapter.
Anjini, voice is not so clear now.
So I'm saying I the chapter.
Say that
So
again.
where are you reading? I'm sorry, I lost you.
Where am I reading? Are you lost me?
I'm. I don't think so. I'm on the right page.
No, you're not on the right page. But I suspect I was because it seemed to carry on in the bookstore, right? You already reached. Uh, no, you've gone aage. Here.
Okay.
So I was saying like the chapter.
I can't hear you clearly, Aradhya. Sorry, can't hear you.
If you say
Uh, Child's play was the last thing. Okay, we'll come here. I think. Let me keep reading. Where so this fine. So not so for Sabine Gruber. Okay. Once Shaska had escaped, she didn't stop running until she had covered the short distance to the address on her hand. She glanced repeatedly behind her, but no one was following her. Okay, so that's also uh, part of the mystery stories, right? How people follow the children, many times it follow suspects and witnesses and stuff like that, or they'd get followed. So that's straight out of that mystery novel. Nonetheless, she wasted no time at Carl's apartment building, pressing her doorbell without hesitation, if indeed it was his. The name beside it was ETA Callout. So actually, based on a,
Sir,
it, yeah, Chris,
sir,
yeah,
sir, what is the meaning of hesitation?
okay. Somebody help Akrit with hesitation. Somebody
See,
help.
I'll
Sir,
give you
please
an
also
idea.
tell me.
Whatever word you don't understand, write in your notebook and find it in the dictionary. And then we will discuss when sir asks you to say something. Okay? Don't just speak in between because the flow is disconnected. Just write this word and we'll discuss.
Okay, and I said earlier, in the context, you'll be able to understand it, right? So here it's saying, nonetheless, she wasted no time at Carl's apartment building, pressing his doorbell without hesitation, right? So without hesitation means that you're not waiting for something. You're just going ahead and doing something. Right? Hesitate is to stop, to think, not do something quickly, right? So ETA Koloff, his name is actually Carl, right? But based on some fictional character, he's just like ETA. That's why he wrote ETA on his nameplate. The name beside it was ETA Kolhoff. But since there was no one else with that surname, she guessed it must be him. No voice spoke from the intercom. No door buzzer sounded. Shaska quickly pressed every single doorbell, and when a tinny voice asked who was there, she simply said, "Mail." That was what happened in her building. Tinny is, as the word suggests, a little metallic and a little thin. That's what tinny voice means. Right? A buzzer sounded, and she pushed the door open. She ran up the stairs, checking the names as she passed each apartment to see whether Carl lived behind its door. Finding his name, she rang the bell 3 times quickly in succession. Myra, you know where we are on the page? Arfa, do you know where we are?
Yes, sir, I know.
Myra, okay, can you read? You want to read from here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Carl didn't open up. He didn't want any mail delivery. All he received these days were final demands and advertising. As Chasha continued to knock, he shut himself in the bathroom and turned the radio up loud. By the time she called his name, he couldn't hear her, not even when she began to cry. Back at home, Chasha noticed her father's jacket hanging on the coat rack. It shouldn't have been there at the time of the day. She heard the sound of TV from the living room.
A little slower, Myra. Little slower.
Okay, sir. She heard the sound of the TV from the living room. Dad? Shasta hoped no one would answer. She held her breath so as not to miss the slightest sound and counted silently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. No response. Maybe he wasn't home after all. Hey kiddo, come in here please. Shasta stamped her foot furiously and then stepped apprehensively into the room. All her books lay on the table. Her father had found them under the bed and carried them into the living room. The soft toy line of defense had failed to hold. Sit down, Charlotte. We need to talk. I didn't do anything wrong. I had to collect up the books, or the neighbors would have complained, especially Mrs. Kaczynski on the second floor. And I haven't been out with the bookwalker. Honest. Sit down, please. Ah, I haven't. Shasta threw herself on the sofa in fury, pulling her knees up to her chest defensively. Tell me the punishment first. Her father frowned. Punishment? I haven't thought about that yet, but I guess there should be one. Then think about it now. I want to know it straight away. Waiting for it is totally done. Do I sometimes do that? His voice wasn't as forceful as usual. Make you wait for it, I mean? I don't know. Yes, sometimes. You're a grown up. That's what they do. So tell me the punishment. He piled the books neatly on top of one another. I don't know whether it's a punishment exactly. How can anyone not know? I always know it straight away. Punishments are always dumb. Her father pushed the pile of books in Shasha's direction. Before speaking, he stared at her for a
Time.
long time. The punishment is I have to let you stay the way you are, wild and free. Shasta sat up straight, leaning her head to one side. What was her father talking about? Dad, what do you mean? And I have to spend more time with you because I know you less than that old bookseller does. He sat down next to her. You see, he took a deep breath. I was angry with him, with you, but actually with myself. You don't understand that yet. I'll explain it to you when you're older. Stasha understood perfectly well. Of course, but she was used to adults believing she couldn't grasp something. I went and found him, your Carl, and talked to him. Well, made acquisitions. I shouted at him. He bowed his head. Truth is, I yelled at him, and I pushed him hard. He lost his balance and fell. Stasha was now standing on the sofa. Did you help him up? No, I left him there. You're so horrible. You're a horrible man. I don't want you as my dad anymore. She ran to her room and locked the door. Stasha's father didn't force her to open the door. He sat on the floor outside and talked. In fact, he found that preferable. He didn't have to see the scorn in her eyes. She was his one and only. Every day, the feeling gnawed him and that he was not good enough for her, not warm hearted enough, not attentive enough, not clever enough. Strongest of all was the feeling he wasn't spending enough time with her, and when he did, that he didn't make it meaningful enough. It felt as though she was taking a step away from him each day, and that he was watching her get smaller and smaller. So small he could barely make out the details. Perhaps that was normal, but he wanted to sense the beat of her heart again. So he read. You'd often told me I should read books. That would be so great. But in the evenings, I am so tired, and a book looks like I'd have to put so much time into it. So I don't even start reading. But your Carl, he tucked a book in my pocket, said it was wonderful, exactly the right story for me. It was wrapped in kitty paper with dinosaurs and flying lizards. What sort of book for me would come in stuff like that? The only reason I didn't chuck it away on the spot was because I wanted to get away quickly. Didn't want anyone think I'd pushed the old man over. But you had, bellowed Chacha from her room. Yes, I had. But I didn't want anyone else to know that. When I got home, I unwrapped the book and shoved it in a drawer, just to get rid of it, so I didn't have to look at it anymore. Why didn't you read it? Carl knows which books help. It was a kid's book. I never read those, even when I was a kid. He rested a hand against the door panel. But then I saw you collected up all the books I've thrown out the window. I had every right to do it. Don't get me wrong. You lied to me. For weeks. Doing your homework? My foot. You were out walking with that bookseller. You still went out after I strictly forbidden it. But that's not what this is about. I saw how important your books are to you, and I felt bad that I'd thrown them away. So you should. He smiled dryly. To get closer to you again and to apologize somehow to you, I read your Carl's book. At first, I managed a few pages. I was just too wiped out in the evening by the time you'd brushed your teeth and gone to bed. But eventually, I got into it. It's called Ronnie, the robber's daughter, and it's about you, somehow. But it's also about a dumb dad. So it's not about me. Is too. Chacha's father had understood it as a story about a young girl who needed to go her own way, but who still needed a father, the robber chief. Of course, it was also about a boy called Burke, who was in love with the girl. Simon would have understood that part. He'd have been entirely indifferent to Ronia's father, Matis.
Okay, stop here. Thanks, Myra. So some words we came across apprehensively is with fear. Scorn in her eye. Scorn is lack of respect, right? Nod is something that's sort of eating into you or festering, festering. Bellowed is, I think shouting, you could say. Okay, Riley is dryly. Okay, so what we read is a very interesting turn of events, right? How there's a big change in Shaska's father. Now, Shaska's real name is Charlotte, right? So that's why he calls her Charlotte. But Shaska is how she introduced herself to Carl, and that's why we, which the book says, gives the names of Shaska. So now you just see where we reached in the story now, right? Uh, Carl is by himself, right? And he's pushed by Shaska's father. The question I have for you is, was Shaska's father justified in getting upset? Was Shaska's father justified in getting upset? What do
Sir,
you
I
think?
I feel like that as a father, it was very justified that he was upset because he's definitely worried about her safety, and Stasha has been lying to him and going out. But his reaction was very extreme. That's what I think.
Right. So thank you for that. Yes, exactly. So I also agree. He was right in getting upset because he was going around walking with a stranger, And instead of being at home and doing her work or homework or whatever she is supposed to do, and without his permission, and when he found out and he said not to do it, uh, she still did it, right? So he was justified in his anger. But as Myra said, it was wrong of him to do what he did in terms of, you know, in terms of going. Now we've understood that why Carl lost his job, because before he lost his job, before he walked into the store, he could see this gentleman, gesticulating and talking in a loud voice to Sabine Gruber, and then he walked out, and Carl walked in, and Sabine immediately fired him. So obviously, this was the provocation for him getting fired. Also, the part about you know him pushing. Carl and then going away without seeing what happened to Carl, because Carl actually got hurt, right? So that was the bad part, right? And what do you think about Shaska? Did she do something wrong in all this? What do you all think? She
Sir,
was
I
going out without her father's permission. So was that right, wrong?
Sir, I think that she thinks that it's not a big deal. But if we look at it in the other way, it's bad because if something does happen to her, then her father wouldn't know where she's been going all day, and she should have asked for her father's permission first. But according to her, it's just an innocent act, and nothing's gonna happen.
Right, right, right. So yeah, I also agree with that. I think it's not okay to go out like this without your parents' permission, right? Because they have a better understanding of the world than you have, and what is safe and what is not safe. Many times when we are at your age, we don't have an overall picture of what is safe and what is not safe, and we may make the wrong decision. So yeah, I would agree with that. So Shaska, uh, didn't do the right thing by going out persistently without her father's, permission. But at the same time, I mean, she did the wrong thing, but I mean, it was an innocent thing, as Myra said, and it was, delivering books. She was learning more, meeting people. So it obviously her, added to her life. So that part was okay, but intrinsically wrong to go out without parents' permission. So we are at 11:31. Manisha, I'm going to stop here. And I did see there were a lot of good, posts on this Joy of Learning diaries. So you may want to just go into that as well. And I don't know if Asta's here today or not, but I thought what she did on that was very, very creative, right? So
I think she is not here.
yeah, okay. So what she's put up there is really, really creative. I just love the sea waves coming, and so I hope you all can
Actually,
look
there
at
is
that.
an event in our school. That's why she have not joined.
So thankfully you're here, Ifra. You read well, and if you listen to how Myra was doing, and she was stopping a little bit more than you were stopping, and then she was trying to get an emotion at some places. With the question, there's a particular way you end a sentence, but the right person to ask this question is Brinda ma'am. Okay, ask her what are the rules around reading. She's the real expert. Okay, so sorry I wasn't there last time and I have to take off now. But as I was telling Manisha earlier, we are celebrating Gurpurab in our condo, and so I need to go down for that. It's already started. So thank you, everybody. See you next Sunday. We have Kartik next Sunday, and he's going to talk on communication. Okay, over to you, Manisha ma'am. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir. Take care and happy Guru Purab to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
sir.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
sir.
Bye.
Thank you, Jain sir.
Okay. So, a very warm welcome to all our participants and good morning to everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
So, all ready for the next session?
Yes, ma'am.
Just give me a minute. I have a quiz prepared for you, and after the quiz, we'll read the book. Just give me 1 minute.
Ma'am?
Yes, is my screen visible?
Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Yes,
Love-
ma'am.
Okay. Do you wish to say something before I start, or should I start right now?
No,
Ma'am,
ma'am, you can start.
I think somebody is talking.
ma'am, which chapter we read?
You'll come to know.
Write
You'll come
reflection
to
on
know.
it?
Something, yes. This is an introduction
Ma'am,
for the chapter which we are reading. So you have to answer very carefully, and I'll ask you the why also. So
Ma'am?
whatever you ask, okay. So I just want you to you will raise your hand, beta, and don't answer in chorus because फिर मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा किसने क्या बोला है. And numbers जिसने लिखे हैं उसकी बात तो मैं बिल्कुल नहीं सुनने वाली हूँ. तो अपने आप को रीनेम कर लीजिए आप लोग. Because I can see many of you has written the numbers, so try and avoid that. Okay. आप पंच कर सकते हैं अपने आंसर्स, so I can see it from there. Have you ever felt scared while walking alone in the dark? Okay, Aradhya, you want to answer this?
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes when it's too quiet,
Do you wish to
because
say why?
yes, ma'am. Because sometimes is that when I just just switch off my and just after that when I switch off my finger horror film.
Good. Thank you.
My answer
Next.
is that I never.
Okay, let me read the sentence first, then you will answer. What do you think is more frightening? Ghost or strange creatures? Being alone and hearing strange sounds? None fear. None. Fear is only in the mind. So who will answer this?
Ma'am, none.
क्या है?
केनाई का नाम क्या है?
Ma'am, may I?
No. Who is this talking? I cannot understand this. Can you tell me
Ma'am,
your
ma'am, that mind.
Okay, I'll request Aditya to answer this question.
Ma'am, no, fear is only in the
Okay, why?
because
Yes,
if we
Myra,
don't
why?
because we don't fear, so anything cannot fear us.
Okay, so अगर आपको डर नहीं लग रहा है या डरना नहीं चाहते तो कोई आपको डरा नहीं सकता है, ऐसा मैं मान लूं? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Divyanshu, the next question is for you. If you saw a mysterious figure at night, what would you do? Run away as fast as possible? Try to look closer, freeze, and watch quietly. Yes, Divyanshu?
Ma'am, can I answer?
Is it Aradhya?
Ma'am, I would say try to get closer.
Try to look closer. Okay. Who else have raised their hand? Let me check. So, Savita Singh, do you wish to answer this question?
Yes, ma'am. I think I will look closer that what it is. Maybe it will be anything which is not mysterious or which is not dangerous.
Lovely. Akrit, what is your opinion to this?
Then freeze and watch quietly.
Okay, so you'll freeze and watch quietly. Divyanshu, you are unmuted, but you're not answering. Is there some problem with your mic? So you can write your answer, type your answer. Myra? Myra, do you wish to answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
Ma'am, if I was in that situation, if I
Yes.
was in that situation, I would definitely try to look closer.
Lovely. Okay, next question. What makes a story mysterious to you? A lonely, dark setting, strange or silent characters, unexpected ending.
Unexpected ending. Ma'am,
Unexpected ending. Ending.
Ifrah, do you wish to answer?
Ma'am, I think unexpected ending will make me the story mysterious.
Lovely.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so next question will go to, let me check, Arfa. Do you believe in ghosts or supernatural things?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, may I answer?
Yes, please.
I'm not sure, but I like such stories.
Okay, you're not
Ma'am,
sure, but
because
you love
there is
those
no
stories. That's
scientific.
wonderful. Next question. Which feelings do you find strongest in mystery stories? Curiosity, fear, excitement, all
Ma'am,
three?
fear. Ma'am, fear.
Curiosity.
Ma'am, fear.
Okay, डर लग रहा है?
Ma'am, excitement.
Ma'am, mixture of all things.
Okay. Next, can fear sometimes come from our own imagination? Yes, often, rarely, no, fear always has a reason.
Yes,
Yes,
often.
often.
Ma'am,
Yes,
yes,
often.
often.
Often होता है.
Yes, often.
Next, if you met someone who had no face, what would you think first? Is a dream or illusion? It is something supernatural? I would faint.
I would
Ma'am,
fail.
ma'am, it is a dream or illusion.
It
Ma'am,
is a
it is a
dream or
dream or
illusion.
illusion. It is,
Okay.
It
a
is
dream or
something
illusion.
supernatural.
It is dream or illusion.
Next, why do you think people like to read ghost or mystery stories? They enjoy being thrilled, they want to explore the unknown, both A and B.
Ma'am, both A and B. Ma'am, both A.
Both are.
Okay, some other answer? Yes, Ifra?
Both A and B.
Ma'am, both A and B.
Okay. Last question. What you hear when you hear the title Dekho Shriman Oliver Aaye Hai, what do you expect? A funny story about a teacher, a mysterious or ghostly tale, a
Incident,
real life incident?
a
Prem
real life.
Kumar.
Ma'am, a funny story about. Ma'am, a funny story about a teacher.
ओके सो अभी कोई मेरे से पूछ रहा था नेक्स्ट चैप्टर का नाम क्या है, तो हमारे नेक्स्ट चैप्टर का नाम है देखो क्या है?
श्रीमान ओलिवर आए। मैम, देखो श्रीमान ओलिवर आए हैं।
देखो श्रीमान ओलिवर आए हैं।
मैम, आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन।
यस टेल मी।
मैम, जो अभी हमने चैप्टर पढ़ा था मैम, डोर टू डोर बुक स्टोर, हमें उसके ऊपर रिफ्लेक्शन लिखना है।
बेटा रिफ्लेक्शन सेशन के ऊपर में होता है, आप किसी के भी ऊपर रिफ्लेक्शन लिख सकते हैं जो आपकी मन की बात है। आपने क्या सीखा इससे वो आप लिख सकते हैं, आपको यहाँ आना कैसा लगता है वो लिख सकते हैं, आप और क्या चीज चाहते हैं कि किस तरीके से आप जब बुक पढ़ रहे हैं तो आपको क्या समझ में आ रहा है, और किस तरीके से आप अपने अंदर चेंजेस लाना चाहते हैं अपनी लाइफ में, अपनी पढ़ाई में आपके अंदर क्या चेंजेस आया है, और क्या क्या आप और कर सकते हैं रीडिंग के थ्रू, वो सब जो भी आपके दिल की बात है आप लिख सकते हैं रिफ्लेक्शन में। आप चाहो तो जुगजीव सर के चैप्टर के बारे में लिखो, आप चाहो तो देखो श्रीमान ओलिवर आए हैं जो मैं रीड करने वाली हूँ उसके ऊपर लिखो, या आप जनरल लिखो, चॉइस इज ऑल योर्स। एंड सिर्फ
Okay,
लिखना ही जरूरी नहीं है, आप और भी चीजें कर सकते हो, आप डूडल कर सकते हो, आप थोड़ा सा कार्टून कैरेक्टर्स बना के उसको एक स्टोरी फॉर्म में दे सकते हैं, आप ड्राइंग भी दे सकते हैं, आप अपने वॉइस के थ्रू भी कोई आगे की बातें बता सकते हैं, या आपस में आप लोग रोल मॉडल करके वो कैरेक्टर्स को एक छोटा सा स्टोरी टाइप करके भी दे सकते हैं। चॉइस इज योर्स, बहुत सारी चॉइसेस है, अनलिमिटेड चॉइसेस है, तो चॉइस आपकी है बेटा, आप जैसे चाहे वैसे कर सकते हैं। जस्ट रिमेंबर यू हैव टू सेंड इट टू मी and my email id is all there on the website also, phone number is also there, आप कैसे भी email करें मुझे, by your teacher or yourself, you are most free to do all those things.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, with this I request everyone to mute yourself एंड बेटा बीच में हैंड रेस मत करिएगा, या आप करना भी चाहे तो आप करिएगा, बिकॉज जब मैं रीड कर रही हूँ तो हो सकता है मैं स्क्रीन में नहीं देखूं उतना। चलिए, शुड आई स्टार्ट दैट? एंड जैसे कि आपको पता है हमारी हिंदी की बुक हम स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं करते हैं। ये बुक है, ये हार्ड कॉपी है, इसकी सॉफ्ट कॉपी अवेलेबल नहीं है, इसलिए हम स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं करते हैं। चैप्टर का नाम क्या है? देखो श्रीमान ओलिवर आए हैं। ओके। श्रीमान ओलिवर हमारे स्काउट मास्टर होने के अलावा हमें गणित भी पढ़ाया करते थे। गणित का क्या मतलब है?
मैथ।
मैम मैथ।
अच्छा लगता है मैथ?
मैथ।
यस मैम।
ये एक ऐसा विषय था
बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लगता है।
जिसमें मुझे नंबर हासिल करने में काफी जद्दोजहद करना पड़ता था। मतलब बहुत सारी मेहनत करनी पड़ती थी। मैं बस यूं ही कुछ भी लिख दिया करता था। नतीजतन अक्सर मैं 100 में से 20 या 30 ही नंबर हासिल कर पाया करता था। बॉन्ड, फिर से तुम गणित में फेल हो गए, ऐसा श्रीमान ओलिवर कहते थे। आखिर तुम बड़े होकर क्या करोगे? मैंने तुरंत जवाब दिया, सर मैं बड़ा होकर मास्टर बनूंगा। मेरे इस उत्तर को सुनकर ओलिवर कहते, स्काउट मास्टर को हम काम करने के लिए कोई वेतन नहीं देते हैं। देखो यह सिर्फ एक सम्मान वाला काम है। तुम एक कुक बन सकते हो, वह तुम पर जचेगा। श्रीमान ओलिवर उस स्काउट कैंप को भी नहीं भूले थे जिसमें मैं कैंप का कुक बना हुआ था। यदि श्रीमान ओलिवर अच्छे मूड में होते तो वो मुझे 1 या 2 ग्रेस नंबर देकर पास कर दिया करते थे। वह सख्त आदमी बिल्कुल भी नहीं थे, पर हाँ, उनके चेहरे पर शायद ही कभी मुस्कान बिखरती थी। वह बहुत सांवले, पतले, झुके और गंजे थे। उनकी उम्र लगभग 40 की थी, पर उन्होंने कभी भी शादी नहीं की थी, और ऐसा सुनने को मिला था कि वह किसी की प्यार में चोट खाए हुए थे। असल में जिस लड़की से वो शादी करने वाले थे, उसने उन्हें आखिरी वक्त पर धोखा दे दिया और एक नाविक के साथ भाग गई। नाविक मीन्स जो नाव को चलाता है। जबकि बेचारे ओलिवर चर्च में शादी की रस्मों के लिए तैयार उसका इंतजार कर रहे थे। इसमें कोई आश्चर्य नहीं था कि क्यों वो हमेशा उदासीन दिखाई पड़ते थे। श्रीमान ओलिवर के पास उनसे कभी न जुदा होने वाला एक साथी था, डॉग्सहुड यानी उनका कुत्ता। वह एक ऐसा प्राणी था जो मानव प्रजाति और खासकर छोटे लड़कों को शत्रु और घृणा भरी नजरों से देखा करता था। हम उसे हिटलर कहकर भी बुलाते थे। वह अपने संकुचित व्यवहार के चलते हमारी दोस्ती को स्वीकार नहीं करता था, और अगर कोई उसे थपथपाने या सहलाने की कोशिश करता था तब वह उसकी उंगली या पिंडली या फिर टखने पर अपने दांत कड़ाने की पूरी कोशिश करता था। टखना क्या होता है? किसी को पता है टखना क्या होता है?
मैम घुटने।
घुटना तो घुटने के नीचे, एड़ियों के ऊपर। हालांकि वह श्रीमान ओलिवर के प्रति बहुत वफादार था, और सिवाय जब वह क्लास में होते थे उस वक्त को छोड़कर बाकी वक्त वो उनके साथ ही रहता था, क्योंकि हेडमास्टर ओलिवर को इस तरह करने की इजाजत नहीं दी गई थी। आपको वो पुरानी नर्सरी की कविता तो याद ही होगी। मैरी के पास एक छोटा भेड़ हुआ करता था। उसके खूबसूरत बाल बर्फ की तरह सफेद थे, और जहां जहां मैरी जाती वो छोटा सा भेड़ उसके पीछे पीछे चल पड़ता। हमने इस कविता का खुद का एक नया संस्करण तैयार कर लिया था, और यहाँ पर मैं यह स्वीकार करता हूँ कि इस नई रचना को तैयार करने में मैं भी शामिल था। नई तैयार की गई कविता कुछ इस प्रकार से थी। ओली का अपना एक पालतू कुत्ता था जो हर वक्त उसके साथ ही रहता था, और फिर जब कभी ओली किसी से मिलते वह कुत्ता उनको काट ही लेता। यह श्रीमान ओलिवर के साथ सभी जगह मौजूद रहता था, फिर चाहे वह स्कूल का मैदान हो या फिर जब ओलिवर बांज के पेड़ों के बीच सो रहे होते या फिर टेनिस कोर्ट की ओर जाया करते थे। वह ओलिवर के पीछे पीछे उनके घर से शहर और फिर वापस घर तक आया करता था। श्रीमान ओलिवर का ना कोई और दोस्त था और ना ही कोई साथी। ओलिवर का कुत्ता उनके बिस्तर पर उनके पैर की तरफ ही सोया करता था। हालांकि वह नाश्ते की मेज पर ओलिवर के साथ नहीं बैठता था, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी उसे मक्खन लगे ब्रेड के टुकड़े नाश्ते में मिल जाया करते थे। आपने किसी कुत्ते को देखा है मक्खन खाते हुए, ब्रेड बटर?
यस मैम।
ओके, तो वो अच्छे से खाते हैं कि मतलब पसंद से खाते हैं कि कैसे खाते हैं?
मैम अच्छे से और पसंद।
ओके, शिवांशु आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? आपने हैंड रेज किया है।
यस मैम, मैं कहना चाहूंगा।
कहिए।
मैम वो तो ब्रेड बटर खाते मैम, तो वो बहुत अपना जीभ बाहर निकाल के ऐसे खाते मैम, जैसे कि उनका मन पसंदीदा फूड तो कुछ और मैम, बट उनको हम लोग क्यों देते ब्रेड बटर?
यानी कि ब्रेड एंड बटर डॉग्स को बहुत पसंद आता है। तो ये लेट भी उठता था तो भी उसको ब्रेड एंड बटर मिल जाता था। ओके, और रात के वक्त उसके खाने में सूप और रोटियों का टुकड़ा खाने के लिए दिया जाता था। श्रीमान ओलिवर को अपना दिन का खाना स्कूल के कर्मचारियों और स्कूल के बच्चों के साथ खाना होता था, लेकिन वह किसी एक सेवादार के जरिए अपने कमरे में अपने पालतू कुत्ते के लिए एक प्लेट में दाल, चावल और रोटी भिजवाना कभी नहीं भूलते थे, जिससे वो कुत्ता भूखा न रह जाए। और फिर एक घटना घटी। क्या घटना घटी हो सकती है? कोई सोच सकता है?
मैम अपने कुत्ते को मैम खाना देना भूल गए होंगे।
ओके, फिर?
मैम उनका कुत्ता उनसे नाराज हो।
कुत्ता नाराज हो गया होगा क्योंकि वो खाना देना भूल गए होंगे। ओके, और कुछ हो सकता है? एक परसेप्शन तो आगे मेरे पास कि खाना देना भूल गए तो कुत्ता परेशान हो गया, गुस्सा हो गया। और कुछ? यस प्रांजल।
हम रात में भूखे के कारण रोने लगा।
ओके, और?
मैम जब भूखे होते हैं तो मैम मिट्टी खोदने लगते हैं पैरों से।
चलिए देखते हैं क्या हुआ। श्रीमान ओलिवर और हिटलर शाम के वक्त बाज के पेड़ के बीच में चहलकदमी करते हुए स्कूल लौट रहे थे। उस वक्त मौसम धुंधला हो चुका था और रोशनी तेजी से खत्म होती जा रही थी। अचानक तभी पेड़ों की परछाई के बीच में एक कमजोर और भूखा तेंदुआ निकलकर उनके सामने आ गया। वह तेंदुआ बेचारा अभागे कुत्ते पर झपट पड़ा। उसने उसे सड़क के पास ले जाकर के फेंक दिया और फिर अपने मजबूत जबड़े से पकड़कर अंधेरे जंगल में गायब हो गया। हालांकि इस सब के बीच श्रीमान ओलिवर पूरी तरीके से महफूज थे। उनका बाल भी बांका नहीं हुआ था, फिर भी वह कम से कम 1 मिनट तक बिना हिले डुले एक स्थिर ढंग से खड़े रहे, माना कि जम गए हों। फिर उन्होंने मदद की गुहार करते हुए चिल्लाना शुरू किया। उनको चिल्लाते हुए देखकर कुछ राहगीर जिन्होंने इस घटना को देखा था वह भी जोर जोर से चिल्लाने लगे। श्रीमान ओलिवर कुत्ते की तलाश में जंगल की तरफ भागे, पर न तो अपने कुत्ते और न ही तेंदुए का कोई अता पता मिला। ऐसा लगा मानो श्रीमान ओलिवर पूरी तरीके से टूट चुके। वह अपने काम पर भाव शून्य चेहरे को लेकर जाते, लेकिन हम इतना ही कह सकते हैं कि वह अपने खोए हुए साथी के लिए शोकाकुल थे। क्लासरूम में इस ब्लैक बोर्ड पर उनके द्वारा बताए हुए सवाल को लिख रहे थे या नहीं, उनको इसका भी कोई लेना देना नहीं था। यही कहा जाता है कि व्यक्तिगत नुकसान के दिनों में बड़ी से बड़ी चीज भी अर्थविहीन बन जाती है। किसी ने सोचा होगा कि ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है एक दिन खाना नहीं देने से? यस प्रांजल, आपने हैंड रेज किया है। Jania, if I'm pronouncing your name right, this is how you pronounce. आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगी जानिया? कोई और कहना चाहेगा कुछ? कि खाना तो उस कुत्ते को रोज ही मिल रहा था, पर एक दिन नहीं मिला तो वो इतना कमजोर हो गया कि वो लड़ भी नहीं सका। बेटा आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं है प्रांजल, आप टाइप कर ले प्लीज।
मैम उसके सामने एक खूंखार जंगली जानवर था मैम, वो एक मैम पालतू कुत्ता था मैम, कैसे लड़ पाए?
ओके, पालतू था तो नहीं लड़ सकता, और वो जंगली जानवर था, ठीक है। बट भौंकना तो चाहिए था कुत्ते को, चिल्लाना चाहिए था, कुछ तो करना चाहिए था कि नहीं करना चाहिए था?
मैम मे बी वो अपने ओनर का वेट कर रहा था कि जब उसके ओनर आके उनको बचाएंगे।
तो वो शॉक्ड हो गया, क्या हम ऐसा समझे?
हाँ यस मैम।
ओके, तो वो शॉक्ड हो गया इसलिए वो कुछ भी नहीं कर सका, और उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या पड़ा मिस्टर ओलिवर पे?
मैम वो हमेशा
मैम
सैड
उसे
सैड
अपनी जान गंवानी पड़ी।
ओके, वो सैड सैड फील करने लगे, और क्या हुआ? जो वो पढ़ाते थे वो पढ़ा पाए ठीक से?
नो मैम।
वो नहीं पढ़ा पाए, और वो बहुत ही परेशान और दुखी हो गए थे। आगे देखते हैं क्या हो रहा है स्टोरी में। इस घटना के बाद से श्रीमान ओलिवर को फिर कभी भी शाम को टहलते हुए और दूर जाते हुए नहीं देखा गया। वो अपने कमरे में ही रहते थे और खुद के साथ ही ताश खेला करते थे। वो अपने खाने में अधिकांश भाग को एक तरफ सरका दिया करते थे, मानो जैसे उनको कोई भूख नहीं हो। अब उन्हें घर पर भेजने के लिए रोटियों की कोई जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ती थी। विमल ने बड़ों की तरह राय देते हुए कहा, ओली को एक अन्य पालतू जानवर की जरूरत है, या फिर एक बीवी की। यह बात टाटा ने बोली, जो कि इसी के बारे में सोच रहा था। वह अब काफी बूढ़े हो चले हैं, 40 से ऊपर के हो गए होंगे। मैंने कहा, पालतू जानवर ही उनके लिए ठीक रहेगा, तोता कैसे रहेगा, मैंने जानना चाहा। विमल ने तुरंत मेरी राय का प्रतिकार करते हुए बोला, तोते को आप टहलने के लिए नहीं ले जा सकते। ओली को कोई ऐसा चाहिए जो उनके साथ घूम सके। क्या बिल्ली उपयुक्त हो सकती है? हिटलर को बिल्ली से बहुत नफरत थी। बिल्ली हिटलर की यादों का अपमान होगा। तब तो उन्हें एक दूसरे डैक्स हुनट की जरूरत है, लेकिन यहाँ कहीं आसपास इस नस्ल का कोई कुत्ता नहीं है। कोई भी चल जाएगा, हम चिंपू से कहेंगे वो हमारे लिए एक पपी ले आएगा। चिंपू छोटा शिमला बाजार में रहता था, और वहां पर उनकी एक मिठाई की दुकान थी। हम चिंपू से कभी कभी वे छोटी मोटी चीजें मंगवा लिया करते थे जो हमें स्कूल के लिए जरूरत होती थी, मसलन लट्टू या गोलियां और कॉर्नफ्लेक्स जैसे कुछ और छिटपुट चीजें। हम स्काउट के 5 लड़कों ने एक एक रुपया मिलाया और फिर उसे चिंपू को देते हुए कहा कि वह हमारे लिए एक कुत्ते का बच्चा ले आए। हमने उसे बताया कि पपी अच्छे नस्ल का होना चाहिए, न कि कमजोर किस्म का। अगले ही सुबह चिंपू एक पिल्ले के साथ हमारे पास पहुंच गया। वह पिल्ला कम से कम 5 अलग अलग नस्लों का मिश्रण था, और वो कभी बिना किसी शक के अच्छी नस्ल थी। एक कान छिपा था, तो दूसरा बिल्कुल सीधा खड़ा हुआ था। उसके बदन पर डॉल्मेशियन और चितकबरे धब्बे पड़े हुए थे, लेकिन उसकी टांगे स्पेनियल की तरह थी और पूंछ पेमोरियन की तरह दिखाई पड़ती थी। वह नर्म, गद्देदार और चंचल पिल्ला था। वह अपनी पूंछ हिटलर से कहीं ज्यादा हिलाता था। टाटा ने कहा, यह काफी खूबसूरत है, यह एक मादा होगी। विमल बोला, शायद ये मादा पिल्ला नहीं चाहते हो। मैंने जवाब में कहा, चलो एक बार प्रयास करके तो देखते हैं। अपने खेल के वक्त के दौरान शाम को नाश्ते की घंटी के बजने से पहले हमने उस पिल्ले को श्रीमान ओलिवर के सामने के दरवाजे की सीढ़ियों पर रख दिया। उसके बाद हमने उनका दरवाजा खटखटाया, और फिर हिबिस्कस की झाड़ियों से छुमंतर हो गए, जो मार्ग को प्रशस्त करता था। श्रीमान ओलिवर ने दरवाजा खोला। उनकी नजर बिना किसी भाव के चेहरे के साथ सीढ़ी पर रखे हुए पिल्ले पर टिक गई। पिल्ला श्रीमान ओलिवर के जूतों की तरह एक पंजे से खेलने लगा, जिसके चलते उनके एक जूते का फीता खुल गया। तो आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे यहाँ पे? क्या उन्होंने सही किया उस पिल्लो को लाके? क्या रिएक्शन हो सकता है यहाँ पे मिस्टर ओलिवर का?
मैम सही किया हो।
मैम वो खुश होंगे।
वो खुश होंगे, सही किया। और दिव्यांशु क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप? कोई और कुछ कहना चाहेगा? हाँ जी, बताइए प्रांजल।
क्वेश्चन।
बेटा आपका माइक से आवाज कुछ आज गड़बड़ आ रही है। क्या आप सभी को आवाज साफ आ रही है इनकी?
नो मैम। नो मैम। मैम।
नो मैम।
आदर्श बताइए क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं आप?
जो छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं तो उसको मैम बाहर और अच्छे कर पाएंगे। गाड़ी से अंदर जा सकते हैं।
ओके, तो हम देखते हैं चैप्टर में आगे क्या होता है, मिस्टर ओलिवर कैसे रिएक्ट करते हैं। तो जैसे ही मिस्टर ओलिवर ने दरवाजा खोला, वो कुत्ते ने, छोटे से पिल्ले ने क्या किया, उनके जूते के फीते को खोल दिया। दूर हो जाओ, श्रीमान ओलिवर ने धीमी आवाज में कहा। जाओ। और फिर उन्होंने उस पिल्ले को आहिस्ता से लेकिन मजबूती के साथ धकेल कर दरवाजा बंद कर दिया। हमने फिर से उसी प्रक्रिया को अंजाम दिया, लेकिन दोबारा से नतीजे की पुनरावृत्ति हुई। जब हमने हाथों में एक चंचल पिल्ला मौजूद था, और अब हम चिंपू भी रात के लिए अपने घर पर जा चुका था, इसलिए हम इसे अपने डॉर्मेट्री में छिपाना पड़ा। सबसे पहले हमने उस विमल के लॉकर में छुपाया, लेकिन उसने भौंकना शुरू कर दिया और बाहर निकलने की कोशिश करने लगा। टाटा उसे स्नान घर में ले गया, लेकिन वो वहां पर भी रुकने को राजी नहीं था। वो डॉर्मेट्री में इधर से उधर भागने लगा और कोई भी चीज जैसे मोजे, जूते, चप्पल और कुछ जिसे वह पकड़ सकता था उससे खेलने लगा। देखो, तभी एक लड़के ने फुसफुसाते हुए चेतावनी दी, फिशर आ रहा है। श्रीमान फिशर, जो कि हमारे हेडमास्टर की श्रीमती जी थी, वह जांचने के लिए रात को राउंड पर आई हुई थी और सब कुछ ठीक ठाक है या नहीं, यानी कि वह देखने के लिए हम सब अपने बिस्तर में हैं और नहीं, और किसी भी तरह की शरारतें नहीं करते हैं। वो हमेशा ही राउंड लगाया करती थी। मैंने पिल्ले को पकड़कर अपने कंबल के अंदर छुपा लिया। वह वहां पर एकदम खामोशी से बैठकर मेरे तलवे को कुतरने का लुत्फ उठाने लगा। श्रीमती फिशर के जाने के बाद मैंने फिर से पिल्ले को छोड़ दिया और फिर वह रात भर डॉर्मेट्री में आजाद घूमता रहा। सुबह की पहली किरण के फटने से पहले ही मैं और विमल उस पिल्ले को अपने साथ लेकर पायजामे में ही डॉर्मेट्री से भाग करके आगे जाकर खड़े हो गए। हम जोर जोर से उस वक्त तक श्रीमान ओलिवर का दरवाजा खटखटाते रहे जब तक कि उनके आने के कदमों की आवाज नहीं आई। जैसे ही उन्होंने धीरे से दरवाजा खोला, हमने उस पिल्ले को अंदर धकेला और फिर अपनी जिंदगी बचाने के लिए हम वहां से भाग गए। श्रीमान ओलिवर पहले की तरह उस दिन वे क्लास में दाखिल हुए, लेकिन उनके साथ कोई भी पिल्ला नहीं था। आगे 3-4 दिन और बीत गए, लेकिन फिर भी पिल्ले को उनके साथ या आसपास नहीं देखा गया। क्या उन्होंने उस पिल्ले को किसी और को दे दिया, या फिर उन्होंने उसे उसके हाल पर ही छोड़ दिया? क्या कहते हैं आप लोग, क्या हुआ होगा?
मैम वो बस दिखा नहीं रहे होंगे कि उन्हें अपने पिल्ले से मैम लगाव है। मैम बस वो एक्टिंग कर रहे होंगे कि उन्हें कुछ पिल्ले से लगाव नहीं है।
ओके, सलोनी आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे बेटा, आपकी क्या राय है?
मैम वो उन्होंने मैम वो पिल्ला किसी को दिया नहीं होगा। मैम वो शो नहीं कर रहे होंगे कि वो उस कुत्ते को मतलब उस कुत्ते की ख्याल रखते हैं। वो शो नहीं कर रहे।
ओके, वो शो नहीं कर रहे, वो प्यार तो बहुत करते थे पर अपने पुराने वाले पेट को भूल नहीं रहे थे, और
मैम
शायद
उन्हें
उसकी जगह भी नहीं देना चाहते होंगे।
मैम उन्हें दुख होगा कि उनका पहले वाला डॉगी जो है वो अभी नहीं है, तो उसकी जगह नया डॉगी में थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा।
ओके, मीनाक्षी मैम, आपकी क्या राय है इसमें? मीनाक्षी मैम, कैन यू हियर मी?
मेरे ख्याल से उनको लगाव तो हो गया है कुछ नया डॉग से, लेकिन अभी वो पूरा उसको जाहिर नहीं कर रहे हैं, है ना। वो क्योंकि कुत्ता दिख नहीं रहा है तो इन लोग को लग रहा है कि शायद उनको हो सकता है घर में ही हो उनके, लेकिन और वो उसको केयर भी कर रहे हो, लेकिन अपने साथ लेके घूमने और हर जगह जाने से थोड़ा सा कतरा रहे हो कि पहले वाले डॉग के जैसे लगाव हो जाएगा तो फिर आगे चल के क्या होगा, है ना। तो
So
that's
he
how I
doesn't want the history to be repeated. So
yeah.
इसलिए वो परेशान भी थे अपने उस वाले कुत्ते जो
और
वाइल्ड
उसको
एनिमल ने ले गया था। वो नहीं चाह रहे थे कि दूसरी बार भी ऐसे ही कुछ हो, और वो नहीं चाह रहे थे कि किसी और पप के साथ ऐसा हो। ठीक है, देखते हैं चैप्टर में क्या हुआ। मायरा, बिफोर आई स्टार्ट, डू यू वांट टू से समथिंग? यू हैव रेज्ड योर हैंड।
यस मैम। मैम, मेरे को लगता है कि वो कुत्ते को बाहर नहीं ला रहे हैं क्योंकि वो नहीं चाहते कि उनके पहले के कुत्ते की तरह इस कुत्ते को भी कुछ हो जाए, तो इसलिए वो उसको घर में रख रहे हैं जिससे वो सुरक्षित रहे।
तो आप सबकी राय यही है कि वो उसको सुरक्षित रखने के लिए है, नहीं और वो नहीं चाहते कि सेम चीज जो पहले वाले के साथ हुई दूसरे के साथ हो। चलिए देखते हैं आगे क्या हुआ। और फिर एक दिन विमल ने अपने मनपसंद जगह, जो कि स्कूल की घंटी के पास थी, से बुलाया, देखो ओली आ रहा है। श्रीमान शाम की चहलकदमी के लिए जा रहे थे। उनके हाथ में अखरोट की लकड़ी की एक मजबूत छड़ी थी। निश्चित रूप से इसमें कोई शक नहीं था कि वह छड़ी तेंदुए को दूर रखने के लिए उन्होंने अपने साथ रखी होगी। वह न तो आए और न ही दाएं और देख रहे थे, और यदि उन्होंने हमें इस पर नजर बनाते हुए देखा भी होगा तो भी श्रीमान ओलिवर ने हमें इस बात की भनक नहीं लगने दी। लेकिन तभी उनके पीछे दौड़ता हुआ पिल्ला पहुंच गया। श्रीमान ओलिवर के साथ यह वही पिल्ला था जो कि कई नस्लों से मिलकर बना था। जब पिल्ला अब उनकी शाम की चहलकदमी में उनका साथी बन गया। वह साफ सुथरा था और अपने चमकीले लाल रंग का पट्टा पहना हुआ था। ओलिवर की तरह ही उससे भी हमारी मौजूदगी की कोई भनक नहीं थी। वह अपने नए मालिक के साथ उनके बगल में चल रहा था। जल्द ही श्रीमान ओलिवर और छोटा पिल्ला न अलग होने वाले घनिष्ठ साथी बन गए, और मैं और मेरे दोस्त अपने इस काम के लिए अपने आप से बहुत खुश थे। श्रीमान ओलिवर ने कभी भी इस ओर इशारा तक नहीं किया कि वह वाकिफ है कि पिल्ला कहाँ से आया। क्योंकि वार्षिक परीक्षा खत्म हो चुकी थी और विमल और मुझको लगने लग रहा था कि हम दोनों गणित के पेपर में फेल हो चुके हैं, लेकिन उस वक्त हमारे आश्चर्य का ठिकाना नहीं रहा जब हमें पता चला कि ग्रेस अंक से हम पास कर दिए गए थे। हमारे अच्छे बुजुर्ग ओली, विमल ने कहा, वो तुम्हें ये सब पता था? निश्चित की टाटा ही किसी ग्रेस अंक को जरूरत नहीं थी, लेकिन वह तो गणित में बुद्धिमान था। लेकिन हम दोनों ने फैसला किया कि श्रीमान ओलिवर की तरह इस कृपा के लिए उनका शुक्रिया जरूर देंगे। श्रीमान ओलिवर ने हमसे दो टुक शब्दों में कहा, मुझे धन्यवाद देने का कोई फायदा नहीं है। फिर अपने मुंह को एक कोनों की तरफ घुमा के मुस्कुराते हुए बोले, मैं तुम दोनों से तुम्हारे जूनियर स्कूल के दौरान में भली भांति वाकिफ हूं। अब तुम्हें सीनियर स्कूल में जाना है और मैं चाहता हूं कि खुदा तुम्हारी यहाँ मदद करे। इसके साथ ये चैप्टर खत्म हुआ। तो अब कोई ये बताना चाहेगा कि क्या सीखा हमने इस चैप्टर से?
मैम, हमें काइंडनेस और एम्पैथी रहना चाहिए।
एम्पैथेटिक रहना चाहिए और काइंडनेस।
मैम,
यस,
अगर हम दूसरों की मदद करेंगे तो दूसरे भी कभी कभी हम किसी मुसीबत में रहेंगे तो वो भी हमारी मदद करेंगे।
ओके। और
मैम, अगर हम लोग को मैम, अगर हम लोग किसी चीज के लिए एक्सक्यूज मी प्लीज, अगर हम लोग किसी चीज के लिए दुखी हैं या फिर कोई चीज हमारी जिंदगी में होती है ऐसी जिस वजह से हम लोग उदास हो जाते हैं, तो उस चीज को लेके बैठना नहीं चाहिए और उस सैडनेस को ओवरकम करना चाहिए ओवर टाइम।
तो आप कहना ये चाह रहे हैं कि जब कोई परेशानी आती है तो उस परेशानी तो वो हमेशा के लिए है, खत्म तो नहीं होगी। और पर लोगों का आना और जाना तो लगा ही रहता है, तो वो परेशानी से ऊपर उभर के हमें अपनी जिंदगी को आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए। यस।
ये यस मैम, यस मैम,
एनी अदर,
एग्जैक्टली।
एनी ओपिनियन, एनी अदर ओपिनियन यू हैव? देयर इज अ काइंड हार्ट बिहाइंड अ सीरियस फेस, युवराज बता रहे हैं, ठीक है। और क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप? आपको क्या अच्छा लगा इस कहानी में? यस दिव्यांशु।
Then he is like a coconut, is showing that he is hard but he is soft on inside.
ओके, आदित्य आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
यस मैम, श्रीमान की
मैम
मदद
जब
की
उन्होंने
तब मैम
श्रीमान
वो
ओलिवर को
एक
नया
सेकंड
गुत्ता
बोलो।
दिया, तब मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा।
बेटा आप लोग की आवाज ऐसे एक साथ अच्छी नहीं लगेगी, समझ में भी नहीं आएगी, तो पहले आदित्य बोलेंगे, उसके बाद कोई और बोलेगा। यस आदित्य।
मैम देखो, जब उन्होंने श्रीमान ओलिवर को मैम न्यू पपी दिया, तब मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि उन्होंने किसी की हेल्प की।
वेरी गुड। अब कौन बोलना चाहेगा?
मैम मैं आए।
मैम
अभिमन्यु। यस।
मैम उनको जब कुत्ते और श्रीमान जी का जो आपस का प्यार था मैम, वो मुझे अच्छा लगा।
नाइस। प्रेम कुमार आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? प्रेम कुमार बेटा आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी। प्रेम कुमार।
हेलो।
हाँ जी बेटा।
मैम
हाँ बेटा बताइए।
मैम, मुझे को
हाँ आपको बताइए।
मैम मैं आए।
यस।
मैम जो जब मिस्टर ओलिवर किसी वजह से उदास थे, जो तो उनके जो सराउंडिंग में जो भी लोग थे, उनके फ्रेंड्स थे, एक्सक्यूज मी प्लीज, जो उनके लोग थे आसपास, उनके फ्रेंड्स थे, वो उनको खुश करने का ट्राई कर रहे थे ताकि वो अपने दुख से ओवरकम कर सके। और इसी वजह से उन्होंने कंटिन्यूअसली ट्राई किया उनको एक नया पेट देके।
गुड। और उन्होंने उसकी फीलिंग समझी, अपने टीचर की। और वो बहुत ही परेशान हो रहे थे, ये उनको समझ में आ गया था। तो इसलिए उन्होंने क्या किया, उन्होंने आगे बढ़ के मदद करने की कोशिश करी। एंड दैट वाज यस अ वेरी गुड जेस्चर। ओके, सो विद दिस आई वांट टू शो यू व्हाट यू ऑल हैव रिटन फॉर द लास्ट टाइम। सो जो भी मेरे पास आए थे अभी तक के रिफ्लेक्शन मैंने पोस्ट कर रखे हैं, तो आई जस्ट वांट टू शो यू दैट। अगर ये बच्चे प्रेजेंट है तो दे कैन रीड देयर ओन रिफ्लेक्शन। ओके, सो ये आपका सनबीम स्कूल बलिया से है, और ये लिखा है इकरा। इकरा आप है यहाँ पे?
नो
इकरा
मैम।
है क्या? ओके,
मैम
इकरा के स्कूल सनबीम स्कूल बलिया से ये पढ़ सकते हैं। कौन पढ़ना चाहेगा?
मैम मैं आई रीड। मैम मैं आई रीड।
बलिया से कौन है, प्लीज वो हाथ
यस
उठाए।
मैम, आई एम हियर।
ओके, आराध्य प्लीज रीड। सविता आप भी वहीं से है, बलिया से है?
यस मैम।
ओके प्लीज स्टार्ट।
फ्रॉम वेयर मैम?
ये आपको मेरा स्क्रीन दिख रही है?
यस मैम।
ओके, लेसन्स ऑफ हार्ट एंड ह्यूमैनिटी।
Okay.
मैम
Lesson of Heart and Humanity, Sunbeam School Belia. Reflection on today's session at My Good School. Today's session of My Good School was truly enlightening and left an indelightable mark on our hearts and minds. We were privileged to have Mrs. Brenda Ghosh ma'am share with us the poignant tales of the inner life of animals, illuminating the often
वन
overlooked
मिनट वन
struggle of
मिनट बेटा, बाकी सब प्लीज म्यूट पे रहिए, बिकॉज ये सेशन रिकॉर्ड भी हो रहा है। यस, प्लीज स्टार्ट।
her narrative not only sustains us to their plan, also can delight kind line within us as a deeper sense of empathy and compassion. The subsequently Hindi story, ma'am, what is written in Hindi?
मिस
Can you
बैबकॉक की बड़ी उंगली.
okay, Miss Bangkok ki badi ungli, masterfully narrated by the Mr. Manisha ma'am. Sorry, Mrs. Manisha ma'am. Some kind of background sound is there.
Let me check. I'll mute everyone.
Then anybody has
1 minute. 1 minute.
Ma'am,
May I now?
1 minute. Yeah, please.
Whoa, a captivating tipsy of emotion that kept us entraining throughout. Its profound meaning continues to linger within us, a testament to enduring power of storytelling. Furthermore, Manisha Ma'am's inspiring tale of a deaf nurse imparted a moral that truly touched our heart. Don't let don't let your comfort hurt others. This poignant reminder reminded reminded of us responsibility towards others will stay with us for a long time. Today's session, filled with stories, emotion, and values, was a masterclass in empathy, understanding, and kindness towards all beings. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Sandeep Dutt sir and Jugjiv sir for creating this extraordinary platform where we learn, grow, and reflect in the atmosphere of warmth and exclusivity. As we move forward, let us strive to embody these lessons, cultivating empathy, compassion, and kindness that dedicate outwards to the touch of the life of everyone around us. Thank you, Ifrah Miraj 9th F.
Okay. इफ्रा वाहिद है यहाँ पे. ओके. सौम्या वर्मा है. कोई सौम्या कहीं पढ़ना चाहेगा? सौम्या.
Ma'am,
Yes.
good
आदित्य.
morning.
हाँ.
Yes, ma'am. My reflection. Good morning and Jai Hindi. Today's class was very interesting and full of learning. First, Manisha ma'am began by asking us some MCQ questions, which made the class lively and fun. Everyone was excited to answer and see who got them right. After that, ma'am told us a beautiful story with a meaningful message that made us think deeply and enjoy learning. Then Brinda Ghosh ma'am joined our class and continued with the story The Inner Life of Animals. She explained how animals also have feeling, emotions, and thoughts, just like humans. It was amazing to learn how animals can love, care, and even feel sad. I really liked how both ma'ams made the lesson interesting and easy to understand. Today I learned many new things and felt happy to be a part of such engaging class. Thank you.
अर्णव है यहाँ पे. अर्णव कुमार सिंह नहीं है शायद. सविता, आपका देखिए आ गया रिफ्लेक्शन.
Okay, ma'am. May I read this?
Yeah.
The session began. The session began with Manisha ma'am asking us thoughtful question to test our values and morals. Her question made us reflect deeply on how we think and act. Later, ma'am
बेटा आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही. Are you there? किसी को सुनाई पड़ रहा है?
No, ma'am.
no, ma'am.
ma'am, maybe now it is audible.
Yes, yes, yes.
The session began with Manisha ma'am asking us thoughtful questions to test our values and morals. Her questions made us reflect deeply how we act and think. Later, ma'am narrated a heart-touching story about a deaf nurse, how she communicated with her patients and cared for them with pure kindness. The story was truly inspiring and filled our heart with admiration. It left us with a powerful moral: don't let your comfort hurt others. In the second session, Bindra ma'am narrated a story from the book The Inner Life of an Animal. The author beautifully personified the action of aged animals, showing how their emotions and behavior mirror those of humans.
इशिका है, जानवी,
नो मैम।
तलत, तलत शायद आज नहीं दिखी मुझे, आद्या, ओके। ये एक बहुत ही प्यारा रिफ्लेक्शन आया है वीडियो फॉर्मेट में, सो आई जस्ट पुट दिस ऑन। आस्था मिश्रा का है ये वीडियो, राइट अप वही है, बस ये बैकग्राउंड में इन्होंने ऐसे कर दिया है। सो ये थोड़े से और आए हैं रिफ्लेक्शन। तो सीमा है यहाँ पे ग्रामीण स्कूल से, या आदित्य मौर्य है, या कोई और है ग्रामीण स्कूल से, है कोई? ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम, ठीक है। सो आई विल वेट फॉर एवरीवन्स रिफ्लेक्शन। आपने दो तरीके के रिफ्लेक्शन देखे, वीडियो फॉर्मेट में भी, नॉर्मल भी, राइट अप भी। आप चाहे तो अपने फॉर्मेट को अपने क्रिएटिव स्किल्स के हिसाब से चेंज कर सकते हैं। आप चाहे तो मुझे एक पीपीटी भेज सकते हैं जिसमें आपके बहुत सारे फ्रेंड्स के रिफ्लेक्शन एक साथ हैं, वीडियो फॉर्मेट, ऑडियो फॉर्मेट, किसी भी फॉर्मेट में। आप चाहो तो ड्रॉ करके भेज सकते हैं। मुझे अभी तक किसी ने कार्टून स्केच नहीं भेजे हैं रिफ्लेक्शन के रूप में। आप चाहो तो कार्टून, अगर आपको ड्राइंग बहुत अच्छे से आती है, आप पसंद करते हैं ड्राइंग करना, तो आप वैसे मुझे भेजिए, मुझे बहुत ही पसंद आएगा एंड आई वुड लव टू पब्लिश दैट। तो जल्दी से भेजिए, आपके रिफ्लेक्शंस का मैं वेट करूंगी विद दैट। अगर किसी को कुछ बोलना है तो आई गिव यू 2 minutes, else I'll end the session. कुछ
I
बोलना
already
चाहेगा?
sent today's session reflection
कहाँ पे भेजा बेटा?
on this group.
बेटा व्हाट्सएप करिए, बिकॉज ये तो अभी मीटिंग खत्म हो जाएगी, तो मैं देखती हूँ। आपने शायद क्वेश्चन आंसर भी कुछ भेजा है क्या?
यस मैम, मैंने वही क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि मैम आज के सेशन पे कौन से पे मैम रिफ्लेक्शन लिखना है।
आर्यन लहर तारा ऐसा कुछ आया है क्या?
नो मैम।
कहाँ पे भेजा है बेटा? लेट मी शेयर माय स्क्रीन।
चैट बॉक्स।
एक ये वाला देखो रिफ्लेक्शन दिख रहा है मुझे, ये है क्या आपका? ये किसने लिखा है?
मैं दिख नहीं रहा मैम अभी।
ये दिख नहीं रहा, ये जो मैं स्क्रॉल कर रही हूँ, क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर में लिखा है किसी ने?
मेरे तो
The door to-
विंडो दिख रही है मैम।
हो सकता है नहीं दिख रहा हो बेटा, क्वाइट पॉसिबल। ठीक है, तो ये चैट, इसमें क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर में किसी ने लिखा हुआ है, The door-to-door activity was both challenging and rewarding. At first, I felt nervous about approaching strangers and started conversation. इसमें नाम एक्चुअली मुझे नहीं दिख रहा, तो मुझे समझ में भी नहीं आ रहा है किसने लिखा है। नो प्रॉब्लम। और आपने चैट में लिखा, बोल रहे हो, लेट मी चेक इफ आई हैव समथिंग। वंश, वंश ने चैट में क्या लिखा है? वंश बेटा मुझे नहीं दिख रहा चैट में भी कुछ। आप एक काम करिए, जो भी आपने लिखा है उसको आप मुझे व्हाट्सएप करिए या ईमेल कर दीजिए, तो मैं आपका पब्लिश कर दूंगी। दैट्स नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम। ठीक है बेटा, चलो, विद दिस आई एंड टुडे सेशन। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग एवरीवन। See you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Thank you,
Next
ma'am.
week, next week we are having Kartik sir with his Yes program on communication. So please join. Thank you. Bye. Take care and happy
Bye,
Sunday.
ma'am. Ma'am, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.